What is happening, DramaCast fam? Get ready for a wild ride because we've got explosive news dropping. Senator Chris Murphy is sounding the alarm on a potential crackdown after Charlie Kirk's death, and the debate over accountability is heating up. Then, we dive deep into the fallout, asking who's really in charge when it comes to free speech and consequences. Plus, Steve Harvey is stepping away from stand-up, citing the pressures of today's comedy scene. And in a stunning turn, Jacobin argues that conservatives are now embracing cancel culture. Stick around, you don't want to miss this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Senator Murphy warns of totalitarian playbook after Kirk's death. Senator Chris Murphy is issuing a stark warning, suggesting the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination is being exploited to silence political opposition. He argues that labeling progressive groups as terrorists or violence inciters, simply for opposing the president's agenda, is a tactic straight out of a totalitarian playbook. This comes amid reports of individuals losing jobs over social media posts reacting to Kirk's death and calls from Republican officials for broader crackdowns. Charlie Kirk, the 31-year-old founder of Turning Point USA, was tragically shot and killed on September 10th. His death has ignited a fierce debate, with critics highlighting his controversial remarks and others demanding consequences for those perceived to be justifying his murder. Murphy's concern is that this moment of national mourning could be twisted to suppress legitimate dissent, potentially leading to a dark time for this country if mainstream organizations are branded as threats. Public reaction is divided, with some supporting the push for accountability for those who celebrated Kirk's death, while others, like Senator Murphy, fear a dangerous precedent is being set for political discourse and democracy itself. This story is just the tip of the iceberg, but what's next will shock you. Get ready for a deep dive into the complex world of accountability and expression as we unpack the fallout from Charlie Kirk's death. The firestorm after Kirk's murder, accountability or cancel culture. The tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk has ignited a fierce debate, blurring the lines between celebrating political violence and expressing conventional political opinions. While some argue that holding individuals accountable for glorifying murder is a necessary step, others decry it as a new wave of cancel culture. Following Kirk's death, numerous individuals have faced consequences, including firings and suspensions, for social media posts that either mocked or celebrated his demise. This has led to accusations that conservatives, who have historically railed against cancel culture, are now embracing it to silence critics. Examples include UCLA's Director of Race and Equity, Jonathan Perkins, who wrote, "It is okay to be happy" about Kirk's death, and a Tennessee high school teacher who stated Kirk's murder was worth it. This situation has sparked significant public discussion. Many believe that celebrating the murder of political opponents is antithetical to the values of a democratic society, especially for those in educational roles. Conversely, critics argue that the severity of the penalties is disproportionate to the transgression, drawing parallels to past instances of cancel culture where individuals were ostracized for expressing mainstream views. But is this truly about accountability, or is something more sinister at play? We'll explore the chilling implications as we turn to Steve Harvey's surprising reason for leaving stand-up comedy. Steve Harvey hangs up his mic. Is cancel culture killing comedy? Veteran comedian and host Steve Harvey has revealed that he stepped away from stand-up comedy due to the pressures of cancel culture, stating that comedy is too hard to do right now. Harvey, who hasn't performed a live set since 2012, explained that he saw the changing landscape of humor and chose to remove himself from it before it became untenable. Harvey, 68, explained on the Pivot podcast that while he was still successful and making money, he recognized the shift in what was considered acceptable humor. He noted that even on his show Family Feud, he sometimes has to hold back jokes he might have previously delivered. He stated, "I let stand-up go because I saw the change coming. My participation was to get away from it because the cancel culture started being everywhere." This sentiment echoes concerns voiced by other celebrities. Denzel Washington recently commented on cancel culture, questioning the importance of public support, while MSNBC analyst Matthew Dowd was fired for calling Charlie Kirk a divisive figure who promoted hate speech. The public discourse is divided, with some agreeing that comedians now face an impossible tightrope, while others believe that accountability for offensive humor is long overdue. From the stage to the political arena, the battle for free expression rages on. Next, we'll uncover a shocking argument that conservatives are now the ones wielding the cancel culture weapon. Conservatives embrace cancel culture in wake of Kirk's assassination, claims Jacobin. In the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, the political magazine Jacobin argues that American conservatives have abandoned their decade-long defense of free speech and have instead adopted cancel culture to silence dissent. The article highlights how corporations and institutions are firing or suspending employees for social media comments deemed inappropriate or mocking of Kirk's death, actions that echo tactics previously criticized by the right. Jacobin points to statements from Attorney General Pam Bondi, who differentiated between free speech and hate speech in the context of reactions to Kirk's death, and Vice President J.D. Vance, who encouraged people to call out and call their employer those celebrating Kirk's murder. The piece notes that while conservatives once championed free speech against a censorious left, they now seem to be claiming ownership of cancel culture themselves, particularly when it serves their agenda. House Speaker Mike Johnson's comments about employers being able to dismiss employees for celebrating such events are also cited as evidence of this shift. This analysis has ignited significant debate, with many pointing out the apparent hypocrisy of conservatives who previously decried cancel culture. The article contends that for conservatives, the issue was never about free speech itself, but rather about who was being canceled. The public reaction includes widespread discussion about the definition of hate speech, the role of employers in policing employee speech, and the historical commitment of different political ideologies to free expression. And that brings us to the end of our deep dives today. But don't go anywhere, because we've got a lightning round recap and a full call to action coming your way. All right, DramaCast fam, let's do a quick recap. Senator Chris Murphy is warning about potential political crackdowns following Charlie Kirk's death. We've seen intense debate over accountability and free speech in the wake of the assassination, with some calling it cancel culture and others a necessary consequence. And in a surprising twist, Steve Harvey has stepped away from stand-up, citing the current climate. Plus, Jacobin suggests conservatives are now embracing cancel culture. What a show. If you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to DramaCast for all your breaking news and analysis, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Follow us on all our socials too. We'll see you in the next one.